Hello everyone, my name is Kirill Kim, and this is my midterm project for the CIS 2367 with Professor Adrian Willer. For my research question, I decided to analyze alcohol consumption in different countries, check the numbers of deaths caused by the alcohol, and try to find the relationship of alcohol usage and the GDP. As you can see in my data, I have different list of different countries. In total, I have 198 countries. I have the GDP, I have the death percentage caused by alcohol. This percentage I found by formula. Simply I divided alcohol use death by the total death for the 2010 year, and this data for the 2010 year. Unfortunately, it's not new, but I think it's still relative, and it should be interesting. So this data I obtained from the internet, from the ourworldindata.org, the website. It's a public website. Very interesting, a lot of useful information, and it's not only about the alcohol consumption, there are plenty other information, so you guys can check it on your own. And let's create the pivot table. We will do it together. Let's use new worksheet, and okay, let's rename it just the pivot. Doesn't matter for us. Let's use entity. Let's use death percentage and use GDP per capita. Okay, I don't like that percentage. We will change it and hit percentage. And we can reduce the decimal points here. Yeah, looks good. So here's a summary for the all countries. And sometimes some people prefer to use a slicer to manage the data, and I'll show how to create one. So we can adjust it. We also can change their settings and increase the number of columns to 5. So now we can use slicer to compare different countries. But I want to filter by the values. Let's choose top 10 and sum of that percentage. Alright, let's see. Okay, so there's the top 10 countries with the highest alcohol percentage of death caused by the death. We can see the Burundi, Cambodia, Haiti, those countries with the lower GDP, but we also can see the friends here, the Luxembourg and Portugal. For the Luxembourg, I think they have high percentage because they have pretty small population, and it might be the reason. So let's try to examine further our countries and see maybe we can find the relationship. So the next tab that I created is the world map. For the world map, I used the population as a size, entity as a location, alcohol use depth as the color, and GDP per capita as the horizontal multiplies. And I want to filter it as an entity. So this map helps us to find the country that we are interested in. And the reason why I created, because I think it's very useful to see the location and to see the border of this country and help us to understand the culture of alcohol and just culture in general. So here we can see the population, the alcohol use depth, and the GDP per capita. Right? So we also can compare two different countries to each other. Alright, so for my next step, I also use the Power View and I create a scatter plot. So on the x value I use female alcohol consumption in percentage. On the y value I used male alcohol consumption in percentage. Size is the population, and details, for the details I use entity. And you can see all different countries in the graph. Here we can also filter by entity and try to find our countries, our top 10 countries from the pivot table. Cambodia, Haiti, France, Portugal, and I was interested in Luxembourg, right? Yes, let's check it too. Why it's such a big number. And let's do Ecuador, the last one. Ecuador, let's choose the last one, right? And let's use United States as a benchmark. Right in the middle, perfect. So those countries have the highest percentage of death caused by the alcohol in the world. And as I expected before, as I see it now, that the lower GDP in those countries result in the lower alcohol consumption. It's female consumption 29%, male consumption 48%. But I also assume that the economy and the GDP results in a lower quality of medicine, and that's the reason why those countries have higher percentage of death. About the Luxembourg, let's see. Yeah, it's only 500,000 population, so that's the reason why a lot of people die. Not a lot of people die, but the percentage so high. Alright, so overall it's a pretty colorful and interesting graph where you compare different countries. So for my last step, I created the dashboard, dynamic dashboard, and you can see that it's a little bit messy because I included all countries, all 198 countries in the slicer, and I wanted to keep availability to compare different countries. But for now, let's check our countries that we're already interested in, our top 10 countries. Burundi, Cambodia, France, Haiti, let's do United States as a benchmark, and let's do Ecuador as the third country. Ecuador right here. Here we go. So here we can see again the female and male alcohol consumption. Orange line represents the female, while the blue line the male. Here we can see death percentage caused by alcohol in the column chart, and on the bottom we can see the GDP per capita. Again, as I said, we can see the Burundi, Cambodia, and Ecuador have pretty small, Haiti, pretty small GDP, and it leads to higher percentage. I'm not sure about France. France has 99%, 96%, and 93% representatively of alcohol consumption, but we all know that the French they have great wine and they have wine culture. So, but I'm not sure why they have such a high percentage. They should check it though. So, in the United States has 2.3% only, which is pretty good result, and they have the highest GDP per capita. So, this is my presentation. Thank you everyone. It was very interesting, and I hope you enjoyed it. And drink responsible, guys. That's all I'm gonna say. Thank you. Bye.